You're welcome. I don't know if I can help you with anything.
Cool. So what do I got to do today? I figured, you know what? Let me turn on some headphones here. Or let me get a headset.
Yeah, you muted yourself, right? That was totally intentional.
No, that was not intentional at all. So let me fix some audio here. Here's the problem with my audio is that when I connect my AirPods, what ends up happening is even the music comes through the AirPods, so I have to then go mess around and deal with that. I'm gonna leave it alone. I won't mess with it right now. So yeah, what do I have to do? I actually have to submit a PR to the Cilium repo because a while back, what we wanted to do was add our training, like our Cilium training. Like, by the way, you know what Cilium is, right?
Yeah. I know the basics of what it is.
Yeah, so for those that don't, it's a container networking interface for Kubernetes, for your pods, for your containers, and it actually just simplifies the deployment process of a container networking interface altogether because you can just install it very easily. But it's interesting that how it's built and how it's constructed. It uses something called eBPF, which I'm sure you might have heard of. The noise around the industry, yeah. So Solo actually developed a training class, which I'm actually going to show you right now. I'll share my screen. Where is it? Share screen. Windows.
Actually, can you turn the music down a little bit?
Yeah,
or
sure.
turn it off completely.
Is that better? Actually, I'll turn it off. You might hear the background baby crying. Okay, so let's go to the Solo Cilium. I'm just going to Google this workshop because I can't remember the URL. This is it. So this is not it. Oops. This should be it. I don't know why our links are a bit all over the place, but this gives you an idea of what I'm going for. This particular workshop is like a walkthrough of the Cilium CNI that we built at Solo. And so what I need to do is I need to go to cilium.io and go under enterprise, and I need to add our training alongside this. So I was looking through the Cilium.io repo. Wait, where is it? While I'm looking this up, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Leanne?
Sure. My name is Leanne. I'm a developer advocate for Loft Labs. We have a couple of open source products in our portfolio. One of them is vCluster. The other one is Devspace. Might have heard about them. I'm basically here because Marino said he might run into some JavaScript troubles, and I used to be a long time ago a JavaScript engineer. Made it up to like senior before I found it to be kind of boring. So yeah, that's I guess the why I'm here. So I have been in the Kubernetes space for some time, but because I don't have a like infrastructure administrator background, these things are like fairly new to me, or I always have to kind of reteach myself what things are and mean. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not a developer at all. A lot of you probably know that and figure that out by now. But that does not mean I can't, be a copycat or I can't hack my way through something or get help from developers like yourself, Leanne. I'm just going to tweet out this so I can get some folks coming by and hanging out.
Sure, we will see how much of a developer I still am, because I've been a consultant for some time and then a manager. So I've those are not the people who are who people call first when they have development questions, but I will do my best.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know a thing about JavaScript, so I'm here to learn, but at the same time, I will try to do what I can. And I think you're gonna also talk about us using an environment where I can test some of this out, right?
Oh, are we gonna do this like right now?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Cool.
I'm very, let's just go at it. Let's be raw. Let's improvise. We'll change things on the fly if we need to.
Yeah, this is not, hopefully not a negative reflection of my employer.
No. It's an opportunity to just share your knowledge and share your thought process and approach and teach others about tools that they could probably use in their environments as well. And if
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
if there's something you want to share, I can stop sharing for a minute while I get some things ready on the back end, and you can go ahead and share about whatever you want to talk about.
What right now? All right. Let me just make things ready. I just want to make sure that I'm not sharing any like
I know.
secret stuff. All right. Where's my browser?
So
Okay,
just
to
be clear, Devspaces is probably what we're talking about, and it's an environment where I can test some of this stuff out, right?
Kinda. So Devspace is basically a tool that will manage your environment for you. So it will go connect with your cluster, probably, your local Kubernetes cluster, and then you can create like a configuration file that will say like, oh, I need these tools installed here. I have these dependencies for my application, and please just take care of it. Make sure that everything's spun up the way that I need it. So you don't, it's basically like a configuration replacement for make files, if you so will, because I know a lot of devs, they have make files to set up their environment. And like a nice feature that I think makes it super cool for like development work is that it can mount your changes, like your file changes, into a running container. So you don't have to redeploy if you just want to like change individual stuff to just see how it works. And that makes it just super fast, but you still have this whole like Kubernetes stack there. So it's like cloud native, which is kind of the thing that we're going for.
So if to get to a point where I could, compile this JavaScript file that I'm trying to make changes to, what would I need to do? Like, how far would I need to go?
So there is a CLI that you could use to initialize your project to have like DevSpace capabilities, if you so will, and it will just create a DevSpace YAML. Actually, can you put my screen on the stream?
Yeah,
I think I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it down there, but you have to like add it to the stream.
Oh yeah, there we go. Perfect. Got it.
All right. Cool. So yeah, if you want to check it out, this Devspace SH. So there's like a CLI, you just run Devspace in it. It will ask you a couple of questions, like where's your Docker file? How do you want to deploy? Do you have a Helm chart? And so on. So then once you've done that, you have like this kind of YAML, and you can run Devspace dev, I think. Yeah, I think it's this one. And then it will just install all the things that you told it to install. So I'm very ill prepared, so I can't show you we'll get to there probably, where you just define all your dependencies. So we will have to like write a little bit of YAML, and then you just run this command devspace dev, and it should just like be instantaneous.
So does it deploy as well directly to Kubernetes?
Yes, it will deploy directly to Kubernetes. It will deploy all your applications and the dependencies that you have. And it will manage the lifecycle completely. So you can also like delete things and then just like clean everything up. And it will also do things like setting up port forward. So all the stuff that you might need for deployment, but not for development environments, but not for your production, you should also be able to configure in that DevSpace YAML. So we'll just basically you just run the command devspace dev, and then everything will be deployed, and it will also monitor your files for changes.
Interesting. Okay. Do you
Want to try it?
Yeah, I mean, let's give it a shot. Let's get it going. In the meantime, what I will do is I gotta get. I'm still trying to get this. Actually, I think I have everything ready to go on my end. I just need an environment to test once we're ready to test.
Yes.
What I can do is
I'm just realizing I should share that I'm doing this in my own company Slack. So they know that I'm doing this, because they've been talking about doing live streams for a while.
Yeah, this is
This was a very short notice.
I am very short notice like that. I just I think
about I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I have plans for the week. Like I know what I have to do, and this was one of the things that I needed to do in terms of like the PR. But I figured like this is an excellent opportunity to just cover multiple different areas. Like this is efficiency and developer advocacy at this point. Like how do we engage with others? How do we learn things together? How do we achieve like an end result as well? And like being able to do something like that, I probably wouldn't have been able to do when I just first started out this role. But now I feel more confident. Yeah, I feel like it's easy to just get into, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I did for a while also do live streaming where it's just like I started like a series that was called Drunken Coding, and I wanted to teach people like stuff, for example, like test-driven development. Problem was, and it was fun. Like you just start and the first 5 minutes are a bit weird because you're just talking to the nothingness, but then after a while it just feels natural. The only problem was that I just got like way too drunk. Like after 2 hours, I was just like, I don't even know what to do anymore. So yeah, had to nip that one in the bud.
Yeah, for me, I try not to plan them out too far in advance. Like I have it scheduled for every Friday from 1 to 3, and like the morning of, I'll just think of a topic that I want to talk about, or I'll build on what I didn't finish last week or something like that. And I find that those 2 hours is probably the best time for me to learn about stuff because I'm just so focused. People are watching me. I don't feel overly nervous or anything like that, but I have a purpose and I'm trying to get to the end of, that whatever end result that I'm after.
Yeah. And we did talk this morning about, learning in public and failing in public. So I feel like I have to now walk the walk after I talk the talk.
And that's part of it too, right? Like I kind of wanted to see where this will go. And I want to, whether this works out or not, it's all good. Like I will give it a shot and see what happens.
But we're going to watch you do it, right? I'm just going to comment.
So the only thing I got to figure out is how do I get access to a dev space?
Oh, you download the CLI.
Okay. All right.
You go to devspace.sh, download the CLI.
All right. Let me, do you want to stop sharing? I'll share mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let me share my, that should be it right there. So devspaces.sh. Did I spell that incorrectly?
Yep. Yes, it's devspace with just a single one.
Yeah, should.
No. Don't you hate it when whatever browser just remembers like the wrong thing you typed in?
Yes.
And you just constantly click it, and that's like it reinforces this. Oh, it wants to go to that wrong side. So yeah, you should be able to now just we only need the CLI.
I want to see if I can share my CLI through maybe a GKE or through GCP perhaps, because the thing is, I don't think StreamYard lets me share more than one window at a time. without sharing my entire
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah,
So
you have to share your screen then.
yeah, so here's what I'll do. Let me go to the GCP console because I can do a lot of this from my terminal or the Cloud Shell, I should say. So I'll just go to Kubernetes. It's fine if you see all of that. I'll just type in my email. Will probably narrow them down. Never mind. That's not what I wanted it to do. Oops. Like that. So -io _owner, J. Why doesn't it like to filter that easily? Interesting. That doesn't matter. Anyways, I'll just open up my terminal. Where's my terminal? There it is. I can do this. So now I can get access to my terminal. There's my Cloud Shell.
Oh, nice. I've never done this before. I've never used the Cloud Shell.
Yeah, it's very, very powerful. Like there's a lot of different things you can do in it. And it stays persistent for a bit. There's not a lot of resources, but it's enough to like just install your tooling. And a lot of the tooling already exists anyways. So the only thing I need to pull down is the Devspaces. So is there a curl command I can run to download it?
I'm pretty sure there is. Let me just see if I can find them in the docs. I know it's on a couple of different package managers. So let me just see. Download. There's.
Oh, here we go. Right here.
Yeah, you're faster than me. I just know the docs very well.
Yes. All right. Let's see.
Yes, that was fast. Can you do like a version? Yeah, exactly. Okay, you got the new one, which is good because I don't even know how the old one. There's a couple of features. Oh, we recently released like last week.
Yeah.
Should probably mention that we released version 6 and we have a bunch of cool new features. Oh, this is just serendipitous. We can use all the cool new features. Awesome.
Yeah, you just made a video about it too, right? Like a short little 1 or 2 minute.
Yeah, I made 2 of them actually because we have like so many new features. So we wanted to like give each one a little bit of like a spotlight. So they're on YouTube. I don't know, maybe I can post a link somewhere later.
Yeah. Hold on a second. So we got the Devspace downloaded.
Right.
Now what should we do now?
So now we would need to go to the do you have the code, the project code available on the Cloud Shell somewhere?
No, so I'll probably have to clone it. Let me clone the repo.
Yes.
Give me a second.
Yeah, cool.
Let me go to my fork of it. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, I'll have to authenticate because this is a public repo. What am I talking about? I don't need to worry about authentication at this point.
Is your PR? Did you have to like fork and then submit a PR? So you might need to go to that fork, right? Possibly.
Yeah, I'm on that fork. So this is my the repo.
Oh yeah, I see. It's public. Cool.
Actually, before I do that, let me sync the fork. Update branch. Actually, these are my commits. I got to kill this pull request, but I actually want to save this information before I kill it. So here, I'm going to just copy this and save it to some text file temporarily. You can't see this. I'm doing this off screen.
Is your pull request mainly docs, or did you also change some of the logic of the application somewhere?
I haven't changed any logic of any application yet. Okay. Yeah.
I'm just realizing now that Devspace is maybe slightly overpowered for that, but now we're already there. So
yeah, I mean, we might as well see where it can go, right? Actually, let me go to the actual doc itself. Oops. Let me go to my fork. Where did I put it? This one right here. Okay, I just saved that off there. I got to go back to the pull requests I submitted, and I'm going to delete this pull request because Billy wants me to remake the PR with this in mind. And here's what he wants me to model. So if I head over to this link here, Ascend actually came in and made some changes to the original file, submitted a PR, and was able to add their logo. So if we actually go to the resulting code, it's under source, components, pages, enterprise, training. This file right here is what I imagine they changed just to
Right. Yeah. And that will probably be then transpiled or rendered into like a JavaScript and or HTML file. I'm not quite sure what you're using there.
So this is .jsx. Someone was talking when I was just literally on a space, and I was talking about this, and someone said this is effectively just JavaScript or HTML in JavaScript or something like that, or JavaScript.
Yeah, I'm seeing that they're importing React, so it seems like this is React, which I have never used, but like generally the JavaScript frameworks all follow more or less the same principle. Okay, I'm gonna get angry letters from JavaScript people, but fair enough. It's JavaScript and it's HTML. We'll figure that one out.
Right. So I'm actually, let me go back to that pull request. I'm going to delete that pull request because it is no good to me right now. Actually, I can open a new one. It doesn't really matter.
You were spending more time about these kinds of things on like, oh, should I close this pull request first? Like, what's the right procedure rather than just doing the thing?
What is the like? What would you do in this situation? Would you just close the pull request and then like just open a new one, or would you just leave this and then deal with it after the fact?
I would probably leave it until I have the other pull request up.
Okay, let's do that. I will take your advice and we will go ahead and go to my fork. Let's make the supposed changes. So the images for the logos, pages, enter adopters logos, images. I wonder where it was put, but we can take a look at the file anyways. Enterprise training.jsx. So this is my fork of the repo, which is now synced with the
current status.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what I would imagine I do is, okay, so I have to take our logo and do something very similar to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me go over to solo.io. I'm going to get in trouble with our marketing team. I'll have to do another pull request after, and we can talk about it offline or later on. I'm just going to say.
What are you trying to do right now? I don't think I follow kind of like.
Okay, I'll explain what I'm trying to do. So you see this website right here?
Yeah.
So we are trying to add Solo.io's training regimen or training workshop to this particular page.
Put this card in this carousel or whatever this is. Yeah.
Exactly. And because of that, the way to do it is to submit a PR. And I thought it was as easy as, okay, let me just give you a bunch of information and then you'll deal with it. But no, they want me to submit a PR where it basically they want me to go and update this particular file so that when they recompile it, now Solo's logo appears alongside, or Solo's card appears alongside it with
Right.
the workshop and whatnot.
Okay.
But
And then they changed the way that they render that, and then they asked you to kind of like change it according to.
yeah, exactly. So what I would do, right, in order for me to get updating, I would probably, and I'm just going to add a pound sign because I imagine that's still the equivalent of a commenting out, right?
Mm-hmm.
From, I don't know, is that the case? Like if I do that, is that the way to comment it out, or do I have to use something else? Is there another?
No, that's oh wait, you use the two of those, for example, no, two of the slashes, the forward slashes.
There we go. Got it.
Yeah.
From icons, logo, solo.inline.svg. And this is me just looking at patterns. that's all I see.
That's what I would do.
And then I see solo.io, solo.io logo.
Right.
And then I could just copy this entire section here. Logo name, and I'll call this out as solo.io. What is our workshop called? So let me pull up that link so I make sure it's consistent. Give me a second. I gotta do something.
Yeah. Take your time.
There you go. This is it. Solo.io certification option. So it's the Cilium and Glue Mesh workshop. Is that what we want to call it these days? No, this is it. Introduction to Cilium workshop. So now we go back here. Introduction to Cilium with certification option. And then I will go back to here and I will take this description and I will copy. And I will paste because that's all I know how to do. And then I'll copy this. And then I will modify this right here. So far, so good?
Yeah, I would probably change the button text as well, right? Like read more.
Oh, yeah.
Work.
Okay, so that looks good.
Button target is blank. Yes, that's good. I assume that makes it open a new tab instead of opening at the same tab.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine it would do. So for those wondering why I use this, the slash asterisk is, and I ended it with this, is because it kind of creates a comment structure as opposed to the double slash, which just comments out one single line. And I think this.
Yeah, I'm hearing a super loud bang. I don't know if it's coming from you. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta turn on focus mode because.
Sorry, I was just like, what the shit is going on?
Yeah, I don't know who was texting me. I didn't even see. Actually, I'll just do not disturb until this evening.
By the way, if I was using Devspace at this point, I would make the changes in Devspace. Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna take us some time to set it up now, but I'm just for the viewers who are wondering how would that work with Devspace?
Well,
And
I honestly, I'll be honest, I have a full hour and a half left to go before I got to leave or go anywhere. So I'm sure we can be able to get up and running before then, right?
you know what? I will just figure out how to set it up,
Mhm.
how to set Cilium up with it while you copy paste stuff.
I don't I don't think you have to worry about setting up Cilium or anything like that, is if that's what you were planning to do.
No, the thing is that basically what you have to do is you have to, for example, we want to change the docs. So we need to know what makes the docs compile,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how to start the web server, presumably, that will show you the docs. So this is something that we would have to figure out.
Okay.
Because that's what we tell Devspace to do. Like we will tell it to watch our file changes. Like if these files change, then what you need to do is run this command. So that is the thing that we would have to know. But it's all in the README, so it's probably fairly simple. It's just an npm start.
Okay.
I think we can manage that.
So one question for you, going back to the JavaScript stuff here. Do you see anything here that I need to change?
Sure. Oh, by the way, what I'm now also realizing is we would have to like build a Docker container and everything, and maybe that's a bit overkill for the
Yeah.
for
Well,
the one
what
side.
we can do
Anyway,
is, because I also want to jump into that Gitpod stuff, but if you've got an
yeah, no worries.
example that you can run through Devspaces, so that we can maybe give our viewers an idea of how that could work for them, that'd be
Sure, we
cool.
can do that after if there's time. Is there anything that we need to change? I don't think so. If we scroll up, no, wait, stay here. We have the training, and that's a container. Can you scroll down a little bit? Because I think, yeah, this is the code for one card, I think. And I'm guessing what's happening is that in the layout for the whole page, it will then have a list and then just iterate through them. So I think this you don't have to change because this is the layout that you want to keep. And I assume the layout around it will just realize this is a list and just do it for every item in the list.
Okay. Okay. So I guess then I can keep my changes here because that's all I really needed to change. And
Yes. But then also you need to fix the indentation. Well, it's not as important in JavaScript as it would be with Python. If you scroll down a bit, I think there's like one, yeah, the curly brace in line 39 is just not 39. Yeah, that one. Yeah, you just have to yeah. In JavaScript, it doesn't matter that much. It's not Python, it's not Bash, but I just like to look at it in a nicer way.
Also, I need to upload a photo. So give me a second here. Let me also figure this out.
You're making it quite difficult on yourself by doing this in the web editor, I'd have to say.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, I'm not well versed in using the Git CLI, so I get a little
I see.
I get a little nervous trying to work through there and hoping for the best.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. Hold on. Where do they store icons? Logo. Okay. Icons, logo. There we go. Okay. So now I just have to upload a file here. Actually, no, that's not what I wanted. Source, icons, add a file, upload file. There we go. Okay, so I can drag them, and let me go ahead and drag a file here. Documents. I have no idea where I save that to. So maybe I'm just going to do this. Save image as. I saved it to my downloads. Okay, I'll do that again.
Using a MacBook, you could usually find it in recent.
Yeah, it didn't show up in recent for some reason. But that's okay. Logo solo. I downloaded it. I'm so bad at this. You're seeing how bad I can be at this. Where the heck did it go? I literally downloaded it to my downloads here. Open with system viewer. It's there.
Somehow in library.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the well, it's in my downloads, but this is surprising. Okay, it's in some other downloads folder. That's interesting. I got to figure that one out now. Okay, there it is.
Just stop getting distracted.
Yeah. Oh, I made an error here. SVG.
Good catch.
Yeah, this would have given me an error. So let me copy this, rename the file that I have here.
Did you have that checked out on your host machine? Probably not, right? You're just copy pasting, but you're not gonna run the website to actually check whether this is doing what you want to do.
Well, what I will do is after I've committed my changes to my local branch, what I will do is I can even just clone it to that system, the Cloud Shell that I have there, and then we could test it. Or we could do
sweet.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yes, this will work. I think this will work. I mean, with your guidance, I think this should be.
As a developer, I would probably have made sure that I can get the website up and running before I make any changes, and then just like make one tiny change and see if this is like if I'm fishing in the right pond, and then do the actual change, like the whole thing. Because you did a lot of work now, and if we find out this was the wrong file or whatever, it'd be annoying.
Yeah, I know. This is the right. Ooh, hold on. What was Avinash saying? You probably need to end line 17 with a comma for the linter. Ooh, good catch. Good catch.
Well, the linter would tell us then.
Should I throw it in there anyways?
I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, if they have a linter, then whatever. Like, it would just tell you how it needs to look. I wonder. I didn't know it was valid to have a comma after your last element. I would just have thought that is not a valid object, but I don't know. Looks fine in line 28 though. Seems like they just do that all the time.
Okay, so I'll add that in there, and let me commit it to the branch.
It makes it easier to like delete lines and copy paste things quickly because you always have the comma. Otherwise, you always have to like, oh, I moved this line to the end and now I have to delete the comma, or I have to add a comma if I move something, if I add a new thing. So just in case anyone's wondering why people do that.
So I guess now what we can do is we can fork this and try to test this out. But I don't have JavaScript on that terminal though. So we're not gonna do this with Gitpod, are we?
We can. I just never used Gitpod, so I don't know. We can try it with Devspace.
Yeah, let's try with Devspace first, and
let's give ourselves like one try, and if we can't, then I have to find a new job. Well, you have to clone your thing.
Yeah, let me just verify that I have a cluster here.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I want to see what it returns as a cluster is the other interesting thing. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Okay. This is excellent. So it even retained a lot of my previous commands. I think there's like a timer for how long your Cloud Shell is persistent. But anyways, if I do a kubectl get nodes, I know I have a working cluster now. So that should work and should function. And what we need to do is git clone. So let's do a dir Cilium PR. I don't know. Solo. I'm just making a new directory so I can do my git clone in here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull up some stuff for myself because I'm probably gonna forget half of it. Okay, so we have so now what you would do with Devspace. Wait, I just said we don't have a Docker file.
Mhm.
Do we need a Docker file here? I guess Devspace would want you to have a Docker file. Let me just check if there's can we just have a quick one?
Yeah, like a minimal for just that.
Yeah, like just a let me just see if I can find one. Why is it not loading anything here? Oh, wait. Yeah, just like a from node, I think will do it. And then you can oh, you know what what we could try is we could just try running a devspace init on the root of the project.
Right here. Oh no, I got to go further back, I guess.
Yeah, on the Cilium.io, I think that's how far we want to go.
Okay. Ah.
Yeah.
So what does this command do for me?
We will find out once you hit it. It will just set up it will create the YAML that you need. It will create it will put a shell file there that will do some local, if you need this hot reloading thing,
Okay.
it will set that file up for you.
Oh, it detected the programming language as
yes.
Okay. Enter.
Correct. So I guess we would do, if we want to really go that far, we'd probably do kubectl because I'm not going to write a Helm chart now.
kubectl. Oh, okay. So do we have to?
I think you can just do enter. I don't know if is it going to abort the entire thing? There's only one way to find out. Press enter.
Okay, well, it took me back.
Okay, well, then I have to disappoint all of you and say, oh, we need actually a entire everything set up for Kubernetes.
So we would probably need, just so that we can probably talk through it quickly, probably need a Docker file that calls out JavaScript from JavaScript, basically. Or sorry, not JavaScript. What is the actual thing? From like NPM? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so we would probably need a Docker file that has JavaScript or Node installed already. NPM is kind of the package manager for Node. And in that Docker file, we would then probably have just run npm install. We have to install it first, and then run npm install. And that will install all the dependencies that are in a configuration file named package.json. And then I think probably also in the Docker file we want to configure that the entry point is npm start or npm run something. It's all in the documentation of the Cilium site. It's npm run start or npm run build. And then in Devspace, what you could do if we had everything that we needed, we could then tell Devspace, oh, if we're doing development, you can just monitor all the files under source, and if you detect a change, then just copy everything that is in source now and put it into the running container that has a source file, obviously, or a source folder as well. So we would just copy and paste the changes into the running container to save ourselves the hassle of building an image and deploying it. But for that, we would have to have an image that is deployed somewhere. So I was hoping that Devspace was that sophisticated that it would just give us all of that. Just like, oh, you're using JavaScript, then I'm just going to create a Docker file that's based on like right. That would be a great feature. I'm going to just like add it as my
feature request.
Yeah, that would be great.
Docker file and Kubernetes manifest build. All right, let's use.
You know what? Real talk. I think that is kind of like a huge gap. That if you're a developer and you are asked to do cloud native stuff, and it has to run on Kubernetes and all of that, and there's a lot of tools like Devspace or Tilt or Gitpod that is trying to bring these things closer, but you still have to write Docker files. You still have to like write a Kubernetes YAML or a Helm chart. So it's like, why can't those tools just do that? Because that's exactly the type of thing that I don't care about as a developer.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. You're mentioning these particular challenges because the dependencies, having the right ones, is probably going to be the largest hurdle before you can actually get up and running. And that's why I feel like tools like Google App Engine or equivalents like Heroku even existed for a long time.
Right.
You can pretty much just deploy your code, not have to worry about the dependencies behind the scenes, and it'll run. So
yeah, but on the one hand you would think so, but on the other hand, I feel like serverless is obviously an ecosystem that's really embraces that thought of like, I don't even care about any infrastructure, just like give me a zip file of code. But it seems like it's not. I don't know if the technology is not mature enough, so it's like I would have expected it to overtake Kubernetes at some point in popularity, but that's not what happened for various reasons. And I don't mean to like say that serverless is kind of like useless or whatever. I would never say that because I love serverless and I actually run a couple of community events. I just feel like it's interesting that didn't solve all these problems so far. Have you worked with Gitpod before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, great. We're going to both fly blind then.
Well, someone said something that it was like super easy to get started, point your repo and a lotto build, and I'm here now.
Was that Pauline? Did Pauline say that?
Well, no, someone else did. I was on the space.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, apparently, yeah, I realized I don't know Pauline as well as I do, and I should probably go probably talk to her at some point or reach out to her. But I have no idea what's going on here, so I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened here. It just literally opened up a VS Code browser, and yeah.
Yeah, as I said, I've never used Gitpod before, but there has to be like a quick start guide.
Yeah, there probably is. What is here we go. Get started with Gitpod. What is it? With Gitpod, you spin up fresh automated dev environments for each task in the cloud in seconds. Develop a new feature, start a workspace. Review a pull request, start a new workspace. Interesting. That's what I effectively did. I don't know what to do afterwards.
What? Okay.
What would be?
I feel like this is, you know what? This is the problem with a lot of DevTools docs, as how I see them. Like, just the way that I work is that just I assume that I have my code. I don't want your quick start code. I just want my own code, and just tell me what I need to do with it. And so often it's like, oh, just like use this set of tools that is very specific to our quick start. And okay, I've seen it work now, but it has nothing. It has no relation to my project and how I work. And I say that knowing that our own tools are, I think, also similar, the docs for them. But it just annoys me sometimes. Is there any like? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna read through this quickly and see what it did in the terminal. So it ran some commands. Looks like it tried to install npm It did a Cilium IO build. Something about Gatsby. I don't know what that Gatsby is. And then there's a random error here, which tells me error 11331 plugin.
What was the command you ran? Husky install, was that the one? No.
No, I actually didn't run any commands. I think it just
You ran. Well,
I think
it
it
ran that.
yeah, it ran it on its own.
Yeah.
I just basically pointed it to the repo and it kind of just got going on its own. So
I think that's the right thing. Those are the two things that you have to do. You have to install, then you build it, and then you run your web server.
so how do I run it?
Interesting. Sorry, I'm going to try this on my local machine. Can you share the link to your repository in maybe the chat?
Yes, I will do that. So go here. You should see it there in the chat. What is Avinash saying? Oh, hey, Jasmine. Hey, Kumar, how's it going? Rohit, sorry, I didn't realize all these people were here in the stream. Oh my gosh!
They've been yelling at us what we're doing wrong.
Gitpod automatically detects the language and runs the command that I think is necessary for the application. But like, how do I go about testing it? Is the question. Like, how do I know it's ready to be tested? Is there was there an output, an application somewhere? Is there a web server running somewhere behind the scenes? So Avinash is saying npm run start, npm run start. Let's see what happens. Oh, here we go. A service.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's open the preview.
Hold on. So what is Gitpod doing here? Is it just like hijacking? No, I'm just because npm run start. I don't think it. I'm so confused. Are we in the? Yeah, we're just at the the project root and npm run start. I don't think it's somehow tied to Gitpod. So I'm interested. Like, I can unfortunately not see the public chat here.
Oh, you can't.
Nah.
There's a chat. There should be a chat button somewhere around there.
Well, I only see the studio chat.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I'm not
the
logged
same
in
chat.
or anything.
Oh wait, you don't see like what?
No, this is just the chat for the two of us.
Oh wow, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I'm not logged in at all. Anyhow.
I am not sure.
Let's not get distracted by that. It's okay. I will just join on Twitch and then I'll see. Oh, that's why I didn't see the other. That's why I didn't see the other link.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't? Okay. Maybe I'll share it with you over Slack.
Right.
Boom, done, dropped.
Yeah, got it.
So Avinash is saying, and it failed because it is looking for the Gatsby site URL, which is necessary for the production build, and hence failed in your Gitpod environment. So how can we get around that, Avinash? I'd be very interested to know your thoughts on it. This is so fun because I'm learning from the audience at this point. We're learning from the audience at this point how to work around this particular issue. Not to put you on the spot there. I know, right? This is like
I came in and told you there was nothing I can promise, nothing I can do.
Nothing is guaranteed. Now, I do have a question though. Like, what would be a local way I can do this? Like, if I were to just compile locally on my system and run it.
Yeah. From what I understand, you're just supposed to run npm start and npm npm install and run npm start. You just run it from your host machine.
Okay, so I basically have pulled down the code. Let me rerun something here. npm run build. Run build. I don't know. I'm just experimenting here in my local. God Gatsby not found.
Yeah, run npm install first, maybe. I don't know. Gatsby might be a global install. I'm not sure about that.
No.
Never used Gatsby either. I haven't been doing frontend in 6 years, and it's unbelievable the things that have changed since then.
You know what? All the, I guess, the fastest. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's for headless components, which I just learned about last week, which is probably has been around for a couple of years. Yeah, okay, so it's still installing things. Does Gitpod start like a separate environment from your?
Yeah, so the way I understand it is this is probably in some sort of containerized environment, and we're just like
Right.
into it right now, which we probably have not.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Which is probably like the notion of pod, even though it might be a pod or not. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know how it's running on the back end, but I'm sure like Lou or even Pauline should be able to give us some idea. Let me look up Pauline on the back end here.
Should we invite Pauline to the to the stream? I'm sure she'd rock this. She'd just be like, yeah, it's easy.
Do this, just do that. Don't worry about much.
Yeah,
it'll work itself out.
Okay, let's just ignore the audit stuff. See if you can do npm run build.
Something's happening.
Yeah, that looks good. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, okay. Well, we got that far.
So it's still saying invalid plugin options for Gatsby.
Yeah. So I'm trying to understand what Avinash is saying. So it failed because it is looking for the Gatsby site URL, which is necessary for the production build and hence failed in your Gitpod environment. Okay, what if you just try npm run start. Well, ideally, build is for the production. So you build it and then you can serve it. But then ideally, like start would just be like run a local web service, a server. So you don't have to be like, you don't have to do a lot of things, but apparently that's not. Invalid plugin. Okay, I know. This is not. Now we're getting into real development, just Googling stuff.
Yeah, I want to Google it too. Let's see what comes up here.
I'm just not sure I understand the error. Oh, you could just install. Maybe it's just the plugin you need to install. I'm not quite sure.
Is there a plugin that I'm missing?
Yeah, because it says invalid. Well, it says invalid plugin options. Site URL is required. So, okay, let's check there should be a file called gatsby-config.js. It's probably in source. Wait, there it is, gatsby-config.js. It's not in source, it's in root. Yeah. Yeah. So in there should be a plugins object.
Well, this is
somewhere.
huge. Okay, let's start from the top here.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. And then there's like a what is it called? Plugin canonical URLs should be one of those items. Probably just search for canonical URLs. That would be fast. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's not in your environment. Probably, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you need to put in there? in the docs, it's just like example.com, like HTTPS, blah blah. Maybe just put the This template is private for distinguishing between HTTP, HTTPS. Okay. How about you just put the address of the Cilium docs in there, which is probably just cilium.io.
Yeah, so I guess I can remove this right here.
Yeah, I would probably do that. I would just replace that with I don't know. I'm guessing it's HTTPS. I think you do have to put the fully qualified address there. I just really don't know.
Let's let me find it. Here we go.
It's HTTPS and then yeah, cilium.io. Yeah. And we probably want to put that in string literals.
This.
Let's see. Let's see if Avinash has some more to say. Yeah, okay, which I have no idea where to get it from. Yeah, it's apparently it's supposed to be in the environment. I don't see, like in the docs, I don't see that they say what to put there, so
Let's try npm
whatever.
start and see what happens.
No, it's npm run. It's always npm run, and then let's just do start. Yeah. We could also just do npm start because the start script and the test script, I think they're like known keywords. So in a package JSON, you can define different scripts and then you can give them names, and it's an npm run name of the script. But for start, you can just do start.
It's going a little further.
That's good.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I wouldn't probably modify this in their repo because I don't know how they're handling this or how they're handling it yet.
It's only on our host environment that it doesn't work because our environment doesn't have this default site URL thing. But I'm guessing with their CI/CD, they will have something pre-filled there.
Okay. That's probably the case too. There's probably a variable file that they have somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and I assume that everyone who usually works with the docs, they also have it, so it hasn't really come up yet, but could be something that we put into the PR description or something like that. Extract queries from component failed. There was an error in your graph. Oh, okay. Oh, it's the same thing. It's also looking for. Okay, this might be the point where we want to put it into the environment. We just write it into the environment.
So something like, and
so we can just put the address that we just put, but we just write it into the environment because now, I mean, who knows how many places is trying to read the site URL property from the environment, and we don't want to fix it from everywhere. Oh, geez, what happened? Did you cancel the process, or what happened?
I didn't do anything.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What the fuck?
I literally just I don't know. It literally just failed here.
Right. Okay. I have not yet checked out this repository myself. So I'm just gonna try and do that on my own machine and see if I have the same. See, this is why we should develop always in containers, because then I don't have to be like, oh, do I have the same problem?
Exactly. But this is fun because I don't know if this will work. But here's the thing, like theoretically speaking, the changes I made should work.
I mean, I don't see any. So the errors I see now, I don't think they have anything to do with the changes you made. And if I were you, I wouldn't mind just sending out the PR as it is.
Well, that's exactly what I intend on doing right at the end of this, because it's funny. Like, yeah, we've definitely deviated from our original path, and now we're like troubleshooting an error that I have no idea. But this is
I
development.
love it. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm like, oh, I feel like a developer. I've set out to do something 1.5 hours ago or 1 hour ago, and I'm just like in like checking Gatsby documentation. But I have to say, that shouldn't be the case. Like, if someone checks out your docs and just tries to add something, like, you should make it as easy as possible for them to improve your docs.
Well, see, that's just
Still
it. Like,
fun.
that's exactly it. Like, I was looking at Gitpod, and they're like trying out, and it's like, okay, what is assumed here? Like, can I just drop my entire repo and everything should work? But clearly, it's good to tell us that there are things missing or things that are wrong, and we have to go back and edit them. But it makes me wonder, like, what we changed, was that the right thing to change? Was that the right value that we provided? And I don't know these answers, unfortunately. So
No, I think we just did a dirty hack because we were just lazy and didn't want to write things into our environment.
yeah, probably. But then what I'm curious about is where they're pulling their environment variables from. Like I didn't see any other files, and it would have compiled the right files anyways. Oh, hold on. Interesting.
Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. And for example, oh wait. Well, we should have done that, I guess, then.
Well, I just saw this.
No, I mean, like, this is good. Localhost, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The default site. But why does it not pick this up when it's
Why
compiled?
would it? How would it know that this is the environment that it should read from? Because we're just saying npm run start. And can you look into the package JSON? That should
Sure.
be. Yeah, exactly. So basically, okay. So if you look at line number 8, it tells us that if we run npm start, it will run npm develop, which will run Gatsby develop. And I'm guessing that now we would have to look into Gatsby. But we took a quick look into the Gatsby config.js, and I didn't see that it was saying something like, oh, take all the environment variables from here and write them into the environment. So I assume what I think has happened, and this is based on nothing but just experience from working in tech for 10 years. It's expected from you that you kind of like have a setup environment, right? This is something of the things that Devspace is trying to fix. Like, if you need a specific setup for your environment, it should be written down somewhere. They did that, but first they didn't tell you in the docs that you need to like set these things up. And also it's called env.example. So that what tells me is that everyone still has a slightly different environment setup, but this is kind of the default, or like how you can get started with. What would have been nice.
Oh, it even
is
tells you how to. It even tells you how to build it.
Oh, it does say that. Copy env example and rename it to env. All right, we should have done that. Okay. I take everything back that I said because this is just our own failing.
This is how we learn. This is how we become better. Like, literally, it's RTFM. Read the fucking manual. Wait, you can't.
I was recently talking to someone who said, like, I'm not a good developer. Would I be a good developer advocate? And I was like, yeah, the more shitty you are as a developer, the better you would be as a developer advocate, because you run into all these things of like, oh, I didn't read the docs because I'm lazy. And that's exactly the type of like mindset you should bring into well, you shouldn't bring that mindset into your work every day, but like this is exactly kind of like how you find these things that you can improve.
Exactly. So, quick question for you. I actually just realized I was using my MacBook mic and not my my Yeti. So does my audio come across better now, or is it about the same?
It's slightly better, I would say.
Okay. I didn't realize this because I looked down at my mic and my my ring was red, and usually that tells me that I'm muted, and I was surprised that my audio was still coming through. So anyways, that being said, let's actually look back at this repo and let's see what it's actually telling us to do. So it told us to change this to .env, remove the
Yes.
dot example, npm run start, npm run build, run serve, run clean.
Well, we don't have to do all of those things in order, right? Like, okay, so the first three things, cloning the image, cloning the repo, install dependencies, and then copy the example, which, see, this is the thing. There was no command. I'm guessing they didn't put the command there, maybe because it's different on different shells or whatever. But because there was no command, I just completely ignored it. I just didn't see it. It was just not visible to me.
So I have
my own fault.
No worries. No, I actually have to backtrack a bit here because we made a change and I want to revert that change right here. So I need to go back and repaste this back in.
You are in a Git repository. You can just reset that change. So I'll show you how to do it. If you do git status,
okay,
it will tell you which files have changed. There are some files that are untracked, so Git didn't know about these files before because we created them new. And there's like there's like the change, right? So if you do git show or git diff, I think one of the two, I'm not quite sure. Git exactly, it will show you the change that we made.
Okay.
So now we can either do git restore and then the name of the file. It just says that above the red line. So you can do git restore to discard changes in the working directory.
Okay.
Now if you do git status again, you can also like look into the file. I just look at git status because it's quicker.
Okay.
And yeah, so now there's no change anymore. So this is how you can use Git to like undo your changes.
So, what the heck did I do? I wanted to do ls because I wanted to rename the file env dot. Yeah, so it's under src, right?
I don't think so. I think it's just in the root. Yeah, it's in the root. And I just did a copy. I just copied .env.example to .env.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find. I can't see it in the root folder though.
Well, if you do a hidden ls, I think it's A. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's A. Yeah.
cp.env.example to .env.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
And then technically, then we should be able to run npm start. But I did that already on my local machine. I'm running into more errors.
Okay. Let me find that original repo. So it says npm. No, it wants us to do npm run start. So let me.
Yeah.
npm run start. Actually, it did say npm install. Did we do an npm install earlier?
We did, but you can do it again just to be sure.
Oh yeah, we did. Okay.
It doesn't hurt to do it more often than you need to. Unless you have a not great internet connection, then you probably shouldn't do that all the time.
Well, it's a good thing I'm running this on Google Cloud Shell. That's their internet. Okay.
Okay. They should really fix their vulnerabilities though, because npm is like, for all the great things, like the ease of use is like really trading off a lot of security, because you can just pull in packages from wherever and it's just really vulnerable. There's Andy Martin from what's the name again? Oh Jesus, Control Plane IO.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he has this great talk about where he like hacks Kubernetes live as a live demo, and one of the vectors is going through like a malicious package, like a malicious npm package, and that's just super easy to do.
There are other tools.
Check out that talk.
Yeah, does he probably might have dug into like tools like Trivy or something like that, which also does vulnerability scanning, but for already built containers, I imagine. But yeah, I should probably check out that talk because it's nice to kind of understand the vulnerability side of things.
I think he's gonna give it again at KubeHuddle, and he's gonna do also his workshop again there, the Hacking Kubernetes workshop.
Oh, nice. Oh, another
Yeah.
error. Did you hit the same GraphQL error?
Yes. I don't know what exactly it is.
Well, let's go back to the repo and see what it says. Don't need this. npm run start, npm run build.
So the run start probably does an implicit build, but we can try and build it statically also. So the difference is usually for production, in your CI/CD, you just build the website, you take the static files that you have built and then put it onto the web server for it to be served. Whereas if you're on a local machine, you just build into your memory, maybe you don't put it in a separate file system. There's different ways to do it, but you don't need that extra step usually because you're not trying to save on compute or like dependencies, like build dependencies. There's some dependencies you only need while building and not while serving the site.
So it still didn't want to build. I ran into the same issue.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a build issue. I'm sure this is a thing. I'm fairly sure this is a thing that happens when you build.
Will it let me serve it though?
I just don't. Did you successfully build? Is it there?
Maybe it might try to serve it without building it. Oh, let's see. Dang. It was worth a shot.
Yeah, I'm guessing that it just didn't create anything, because normally you would have like a dist folder or something after it's done building. But I mean, I looked at the error and it just looks very inside GraphQL, and I just don't have no idea about GraphQL.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very, very basic sense of it, but I'm very surprised that it's not building. That is
Right?
to me, yeah, because I'm following the instructions.
Let's be sure that we actually are.
Yeah, so I git clone, npm install, npm run start, npm run build, npm run serve.
We are sure that you have synced your own repository fully with the upstream, right? Yeah.
Yeah, my branch is ahead of the Cilium main, so I'm pretty synced aside from the changes that I've made. But that's interesting.
Right. Indeed, yeah. Oh, when you file the PR, you can attach this video and tell them that there's something wrong with building the website.
So it's saying not finished running Gatsby plugin sharp.image processing jobs, failed extract queries from components.
So there's what I understand is that GraphQL is trying to query a field on a specific type, but then this doesn't exist. So if you add a new data source, please try to restart. Oh, we did that. You want to option use your fit object, and right now it does not use. Okay. I could look at this file, the source components, pages, newsletter, but I guess, I don't know, it will probably just tell us, hey, this is, you can just command, oh no, wait, I don't think it's not that good because you're in a Cloud Shell.
Oh, hold on, let's see. Yeah, it's not that great. Experience is horrible. Whoa. Okay, let's try this again. Source pages, newsletter, issues.jsx,
Yeah.
16.9. But okay.
So yeah, I see it in my IDE already, and but if you go up again, so we're like defining a lot of, I think what's happening here in this file is probably like some kind of like marshalling or unmarshalling of those GraphQL objects.
Mhm.
So right here, const issues. So that's our we're building the structure of the issues type here.
Mhm.
And we are doing a query on HubSpot email, or like on the GraphQL, which we call HubSpot emails query. And there we are querying the emails, and in the emails, we expect the object's name, publish date is published, and published URL. So this is the thing that we're doing here.
Mhm.
So we cannot query the field objects on type HubSpot emails. So I'm wondering now, is it expecting there to be a field named objects? Because from the way this reads, it's like the fields are name, published date is published, and published URL. But I don't know how that looks like.
I don't.
How the structure looks like.
I'm not even sure either,
I know.
because now I'm seeing this. This is like completely unrelated, like outside of.
Yeah.
Is I'm trying to build the entire website, and now we're troubleshooting an area of the website that has nothing to do with me. But
Right?
yeah,
We're so far ahead that way.
it's strange. You know what? So I'm not like I wanted to try and compile it, but I'm not going to try and sit here and troubleshoot.
No. So one thing that I personally find super important also is to know like what the scope is of what you're trying to do. So we kind of like have figured out what the probable
Mhm.
thing is that we want to do. I think like the changes that you made seem correct. I mean, I don't know that much about their website, but seems like that's the right change. And ideally, what they will have is a CI/CD that has everything correctly set up.
Mhm.
So the other thing that, like, what I would do next is file that PR and hope that it goes through the CI/CD and use that as kind of the way to run it.
Yeah. So
And
what
to
I'll
see if
also,
there's something that needs to be fixed.
yeah. So I'll also have to delete that because we don't need that there. And now I'm going to open a pull request.
We attempted to learn a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different areas and directions we ended up in. Like we tried using Gitpod, we tried Devspaces, but Devspaces requires us to even have a container already built and a
Right.
YAML supplied. But let's go back and revisit the Devspaces thing, because I'm sure you have a sample YAML, right? That we can test out.
Oh, yes, I do. Wait. Okay, so it's Devspace, just one Devspace.
Devspace, yeah.
And
Devspace.
okay, I'm gonna share my screen, I guess.
So yeah, you go ahead and share your screen on the back end. I'm going to submit this PR because there's a few details here.
Wait.
Yeah, but maybe you can
So,
take us to that demo.
yeah, I will attempt to demo something. So I'm gonna do the exact thing that I told everyone sucks, which is use our actual quick start instead of like an actual project, because as I said before, I'm very ill prepared. So this quick start project is like a very simple Node.js project that has a front end and a back end. And let me just see. I just want to see if I can open it. This is not the. Okay, here we go. So this is the quick start repository, and we have a index.js, which has the HTML in the JavaScript that we're gonna deliver with our Express web server. And we have a Docker file that, as I said before, is pretty much just the node base. We set a workdir, we run npm install, and then we run npm start. And the npm start starts a, so there's two. There's start prod, which is just running in the index.js. The other start runs nodeman, and nodeman will be able to restart node without killing the process, because node is like it's one process, and if you want to check changes in your file and then restart, you have to like stop the process and then you're out of the container. So with nodemon, you can just like restart the node process inside the nodemon process. That's a bit of a specific Node JavaScript thing aside. So the Devspace YAML looks like this. It's very complicated. Maybe you know what, instead I'm just going to run you through the Devspace init again, the procedure, because we didn't see that. So do you want to delete Devspace YAML recreated from scratch? Yes. Okay, we're just running through the init from scratch. So I'm going to pick JavaScript. It's cleverly detected that already. How do I want to deploy this project? I think, oh, you know what? I'm cheating here. I can just use Helm because this is a Devspace quick start project and it knows where the Helm chart for that is. It's in the Loft Labs Helm repository, I think. So, and then you have two options. You can just deploy this project onto your local machine, or I want to actively develop on this project, and the source code is here in this repository. So I wanted to pick that, and then it asks me like, oh, which Docker file are we using? And I can say there is a Docker file. I can even say like, I don't know yet, but we didn't get this far last time. And container registry, I want to skip that because I want to develop locally and I want to push my images anywhere to save some time, mainly. And I don't want to log in anywhere. Okay, so now I need to also see if I have a, I don't, because I was not prepared very well. Okay, now it might take between 1 and 20 minutes to start Docker Desktop. You know how it is. While I'm waiting for Docker Desktop, I'll just like show you quickly a couple of things that are cool and interesting about Devspace. All right, so what we have is this YAML file, and we have a couple of like top level sections that we can use. So I think the most interesting one for now is the images. So I'm going to tell it like I have an application called app. This is the name of the image. So if I had a registry, I would just put like the whole registry URL here, but it's going to skip that anyway. But it's just, the point here is just that this defines the name of my, oh, actually this defines the name of my image, I think, the key here. So yeah, this is the image where it should be pushed to. This is where the Docker file lives. So I'm just telling it, I have a bunch of images. Then in deployments, I can now tell Devspace, okay, so I have this app, right, called app. And in there, I am using I'm using a Helm chart to deploy. This chart has this name, and you can read it from this repository. And I'm also going to put some Helm values in there. So this is pretty much, if you know Helm, this is like pretty straightforward. Probably this just maps pretty much one-to-one on Helm. I can also define if I have any like specific things that I want to do in dev that I don't need to do in deploy. For example, there's a sync thing where I'm saying like, oh, don't sync or like sync these things into. I can also do like this SSH thing, which is pretty cool because I can inject a SSH server into the container, and then I can use my IDE to SSH into the container, which is super awesome. And it won't mess with my original pod, because this is like something that Devspace does on the outside. So I don't have to like change that in my Kubernetes YAML. I don't want to like talk about it for too long. I'm guessing, Marino, did you manage to like file your pull request?
I am almost there. I actually had
All right.
to delete the previous pull request so that I could properly do this one, because it was actually getting slightly confusing. But now I think I'm ready to submit this. But yeah, that was really good, like in terms of just getting to know Devspace and how it can be used. There's a lot of developers in our audience alone, like that will probably enjoy or take advantage of this. But it's interesting because you still need a few things ahead of time, and the features that you suggested earlier on around, maybe what if Devspace is actually compiled and build the container for us, and then even created the manifest? That'd be pretty darn awesome.
That would be great, but I think this is like there's too many variables. I mean, I remember that I used to develop for at a company called Tilt, and they have a very similar project, and we were talking about like this like quick start wizard thing as well, and there were just so many individual variables that we said like we can only do like a very bare minimum thing. We were also trying to like detect things in your project and everything, and it would have been really cool, but it would have cost us like.
Oh, you cut out, your audio cut out a little bit, Leon. Can't hear you anymore. Are you using like Bluetooth headset or something? That's okay. I'll keep talking while you sort out audio issues. But this is an interesting approach, like just to be able to test out code and whatnot. I'm gonna actually flip back to my screen so you can see the PR that I just submitted. So it's already in there. I actually restructured it with with much more information, and even alongside the files that I added. So I added our solo logo, and then even updated our training, or that training.jsx file. Unfortunately, I can't test it because I tried to test it locally. We all try. I got your audio back. I can hear you now, Leanne.
Yeah, that kind of weird. I think Chris just kicked me out of the session. I'm sure it was Docker. Every time I start Docker, it just like kills everything.
Resource hog, right?
I know, it's terrible.
Cool.
Oh, did you get it? Wait, sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you get an M2 now?
Oh yeah. I have it in front of me right now.
Oh, does it like? But you're not using it at the moment, because I just need to know if I can run Docker and Zoom at the same time with an M2.
Well, I'm using the M1.
All I need.
I'm using the M1 right now, and it's like I've got Docker running behind the scenes. I've got like probably 150 tabs open. My laptop's still like it's getting warm, but it's not hot, so
Right.
I think I'm okay. And I'm streaming too, so it's
Yeah.
So it's okay. But I haven't tested out a lot of this stuff on the M2 because here's the thing: I haven't gone anywhere to really use it, and that was the whole intention, having an M2 so I can travel lightly, and not have to worry about breaking my back or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think. Are you thinking about getting?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm thinking about getting one, but I have like my M1 that I'm using right now is like not that old. I think I got it's a 2019 or something, so it's like it still works. I still have it's a 2020, but I still have like a 2015 MacBook also that I'm using just to watch stuff on, and like fine. It's totally fine. Do they have any like preview stuff on the CI/CD?
Here inside of their own repo?
Or like probably for your pull request that you're gonna file, right? Oh yeah, there's something. There's like, oh look, there's a deploy to Netlify, so there will be a deploy preview, right? So there, you see it says, oh, waiting for status to be reported. But it says deploy Netlify, and usually that means that they will do a deployment on an ephemeral environment, right? So we could, once it's done, you could check if your changes look correctly there.
Okay. So it just needs to be approved, and then assuming that like it compiles properly and they can see the contents of the website correctly, it should definitely be on its way. Nice.
It should be. I don't know what needs to happen for it to do that deployment, but it's in the CI/CD.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I mean, I'm happy with this. It's a PR. It fixed my last PR, which missed a lot of information. The website technically should update, assuming that they approve the PR. We can even see the changes that I added. Actually, this is exciting because this is probably the very first time I've actually contributed to open source. And if it gets
Really?
merged, yeah, I swear this is like I've had other PRs merged and whatnot, but they're like very basic. If this one gets merged, like this is the first time I would have actually contributed to an open source project, and I am excited and thrilled
That's
about that.
amazing. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I will congratulate you when it gets merged.
I am totally fine with that. But with that being said, I actually have to run because I actually have to go now.
Yeah.
Got to get ready.
I actually have to have dinner.
Oh yeah, it is pretty late for you.
It's 7 p.m. here.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I am so thankful for you to commit your time after hours. I don't know how you work or how
This is not after hours. I work afternoon to evening because it's like, yeah, it's cool. I have the mornings to myself, and then I can talk to my US colleagues also sometimes.
That is the way to set boundaries, Leanne. I should age from what you do. But yeah, thank you so much for validating a lot of the things that I was attempting to do. I appreciate it. It was fun doing this. We should do this more. We have to do this more.
We have to do this more. Thank you for inviting me. It was a lot of fun.
For sure. Thank you so much. And for the audience, thanks so much for coming along and hanging out with us. And Avinash, if you're still around, thank you for all the extra guidance. I hope you
thanks. It's really helpful.
For sure. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Leanne. Take care.
Oh, thanks.